All right, testing, testing. We are live. um, hey there, pod racing fans and speed gaming viewers, and welcome to a 2023 Galactic Pod Racing Tournament match. We are in the lower winners quarters, and our runners today are Knock and Paige. This is their first, their kickoff match in the bracket, starting with 8 players. And the winner of this match will go on to face Digital Unity in the winner's semis. And the loser will go into the loser's bracket to face Ronnie. Let me know if the audio is coming through. Okay, I'm audible. Everything's balanced. Everything sounds good. And we are immediately off. Doug Kirby on race 1. Sink in here. Paige, if you were around for the warm-ups, Paige just got a hell of a PB in warm-ups, and had it recorded too, so she'll be able to submit. And has it synced yet? It has not. Okay, still waiting on the sync. There we go. Knock looking a little bumpy. Not quite holding the boost and underheating, but Paige looking very strong. Let's see how lap 2 chicane goes. Very nicely. Same for Knock, a bit slower with a brake. And here come the lap 2 lap times. 31 for Paige and a 33 for Knock. And it all comes down to this lap 3 segment. Paige losing the boost hold there, but it's fine. Both play it safe. Sliding under that roof section. Lap 3 chicane goes very fine for Paige and Knock. No chicane deaths. Actually, no deaths at all. And it's going to go to Paige with a 136. Great racing so far. Looks like that's race 1. Paige now in the lead with 1 point. Let's update the score. And there we go. Sorry, I am solo commentating, so apologies if I miss anything. Here come the permabans. Oh man. These players are wasting 0 time. Knock, permabanning Vengeance. Paige, permabans Mongaza Speedway. Knock, permabans Endobe Mountain Run. And our 4th permaban is Paige with Inferno. So Paige permabanning MGS and Inferno, and Knock permabanning Vengeance and Adobe Mountain Run. Interesting. Okay, Knock is now temp banning Ben Quadneros. She is immediately on the selecting side of things. And we are looking for a track temp ban from Paige, which is going to be Abyss, which is actually a track that Knock likes to pick for skips specifically. I believe she has a 100% win rate on her Abyss skips picks. And it looks like we're going to Bumpy's Breakers skips. Knock immediately taking us to a hell of a skips pick for race 2. And as Goof points out, it's a hood classic. Uh, I, I'm very curious about what method they're going to try here. I know there's several methods, each with varying levels of risk and consistency. And Paige says this was a expected pick for her. Paige revealing to Nock that she's going with Elon Mock, which is indeed the tournament record without Ben, set by Ace with a 252. Yeah, no Ben.
You'll not find a better deal anywhere, I think, huh?
And there goes Nock dialing in that traction part, which could mean that she's going for the riskier one. But we will see. All right, what pod is not going with Elon as well? No Bulls Jam, sorry. That's I don't know if I'd expect a Bulls pick for this skip, but you never know. All right, let's see how warm-ups go. Yeah, Nock indeed going for that rescue and gets it first try. This may have been the counter pick she was talking about in setup. But yeah, this skip is a considerable advantage if you get it at least once. But it's a huge risk if your opponent gets it even one more time than you do. So this is going to be an exciting watch as we as we bite our nails, as we hold our breath every skip. And you see Nock there. I have no idea what she just died to. You see how inconsistent it can be. I'm not sure what Paige is doing. She did expect this pick, but it may have looked like she was going with the old, more consistent method. But Goof mentions it could also be a bit hard to pull off. Yeah, Nock looking pretty solid, except for that one weird death. As we're all aware, there's always some element of unexpectedness in every race. But it looks like the countdown is firing off. Paige switching late game to late warm up over to Neva Key. And we should be seeing them take off any second now. Yeah, Paige actually looks like she's setting up for this. Oh, man. And she's not quite dialing it in. Oh, there she goes. The last second of warm up, she figures it out. Where to nail that, switching from the reverse gear to gear 1. And here it goes. Here is the official race. Let's get the sync in here. Paige immediately dies. I was looking at the sync to something. And Nock's first skip. Just dealing with a lot of little. And Paige nails the backup method. All right, both runners getting skip on lap 1. Nock, you can see, has Paige with a terrible death right there. Just because of how it respawns you. Ugh. But again, it doesn't really matter much what happens in the rest of this race up to a point because of how race breaking this skip is. All right, here goes Nox lap 2 skip. Oh no! Oh no! Okay. Muscle memory took over there and hit the pause button, but she is being sent off into the full track. Let's see how lap two's Paige. Yeah, Paige nails it. Absolutely nails that maneuver on the skip. And it looks like with the safer strats and the safer pod choice, she's now in the lead into lap 2. But it's all going to come down to that lap 3 skip. Nock can make up some time here, possibly. As long as she doesn't see any deaths. You see she's just now catching up to where the skip would have placed her. Oh, and that's too much air into that archway there. So yeah, that's another death to set Nock behind. Paige closing out her lap 2. And it's into the lap 3 skip with a fire. Here she goes. She nailed this 3 out of 3 times. Tremendous. Makes it look easy. In warm-ups, you saw just how last second she was dialing things in. And when it comes down to the live race, when all the pressure's on her, she just knocks it out of the park. And looking a little shaky through that shortcut, but this has definitely got to go to Paige at this point. We'll see how things go for Nock in her lap 3 skip. And yeah, she gets plenty of airtime, but that lap 2 skip just unfortunately did not go well for her. It looked like she died right on contact with that wall. And Paige is going to close it out with a 314 with Neva Key. And I think only maybe a death in there. Yeah. Paige commenting that Neva makes old strats free. Yeah, Paige really proving her game knowledge, her backup strategy, versatility, and ability to improvise on the fly with that race there. Really great stuff. Not gonna close it out with a 3:45.49. Yeah, looks like both runners reported having 2 deaths there. So Paige now leads 2-0. This is a best of 9 race or match. The first of 5 wins the match. Here comes the race 3 ban phase. Nock, temp bans, Ben Quaderneros. It's always good to keep your opponent, especially if they're rated a little higher than you, off of Ben, off of the more meta stuff, which it seems like Nock is prioritizing here. And Paige is going to be temp banning the Boonta training course. Perhaps guarding a skips pick on that one. I know Paige is very comfortable with the full track. So she would not want Nock to rob her of that. Though she could perform the run back. And Nock is going to be selecting Saboba's Legacy and adding on to the Ben Quaderneros temp ban, Bull's Roar and Mahonic. So a pile of temp bans, of racer temp bans on this Sebulba's Legacy pick. So this leaves, it looks like, um, it looks like, oh, we don't have a proper racer flag for Jin Riso, I think it was, is the next pod pick, but it's really Mars is the pick here. And yeah, thank you. I need to update the score for Paige. Okay, yeah. It looks like Nock has already been here with Mars in tournament before with a 2-minute time. And it looks like Paige going with Elon Mock for this one. So yeah, we're heading back to Malistar for another exciting race. Our race one, if you missed it, was Doug Derby, which Paige took. But both racers were extremely clean on that difficult course. No deaths. So let's see if they can keep that up through this next Malistaire course. Oh, you see Nock dipping down there, but not quite getting the entry into that tunnel there. Yeah, I think Mars is the best pod here, pod choice here on paper, but he's a bit cumbersome with his size, even though he has the better turning stats, I believe. Okay, countdown is fired off. In warm-up so far, Nock has been crashing a little bit. So let's hope things can clean up for the race. Oh, getting a nice amount of airtime out of that tunnel. But we should be seeing them reset imminently. Okay, looks like Paige is off into race 3 on Sebulba's Legacy. Oh, I definitely synced the wrong stream there. Apologies. So I think we'll be seeing, yeah, both streamers pause there for a brief second. But things should be syncing up right here. Okay. Neck and neck so far through lap 1. The tunnel looked fine. Is not going to drop down. Paige going the long route, Nock dropping down. And with a little touch of braking there, but Paige is going to actually beat her through that strat. Yeah, it doesn't quite even out there for Nock. Paige now in the lead into lap 2 on much higher heat with Elon Mock. And yeah, you actually see Nock evening things out here. Those that stronger boost thrust, I believe. And she's dropping down lap 2 again. And I think just underheating just a little bit there, losing out on some heat. Paige maintaining that high heat, but still just barely staying in the lead, it looks like. If anything, it's incredibly neck and neck. Knock may be in the lead here. It's very difficult to tell. Oh, and that's a death for Knock. Landing at the end of that very difficult tunnel section. Paige looks like she's going to take this one. Yeah. With a 157. It all came down to that single death for Knock. Without that, it could have been an extremely close race. It still was. It was a very exciting watch, but yeah, the Knock saying, not my day today, apparently. And yeah, Paige going with Elon. As Knock mentioning, it was a toss-up whether to ban Elon or Ma. Yeah, her temp bans included Bowles, Ben Bowles, and then Mahonic. So she was kind of on the fence about that third temp ban. Let's check out these times here and update the score. It is now 3-0. And into race 4, we're seeing yet another Ben Quadnair's temp ban from Knock. Paige, we've seen temp banning Bunta training course and also Abyss. So what's she worried about right now? Looks like the Bunta training course again. And guess where we're going next? That's right, the Gauntlet skips. Knock with the back-to-back. Well, not back-to-back, but the alternating skips picks. With no Ben here, Mars is the obvious choice. And it looks like both these runners actually have a 5-death time recorded as their best on this pick. So I imagine they'll be cleaning things up in this following race. But actually, Paige has the better recorded time here with a 3:06. Best tournament time with no Ben is a 2:33. So yeah, we will see how their consistency looks here on this very fun Gauntlet Skips pick. If you weren't around for our 2021 tournament, that seems to be a sort of a what's the word I'm looking for? Sort of a through line throughout that tournament of constantly picking Gauntlet skips, but also seeing the most bizarre stuff. For instance, a double soft lock, which I hope I'm not jinxing these runners by mentioning. But there is a possibility of trapping yourself in one of the rocks in the tube, in the anti-gravity tube at the end of this course. There's also just a very unexpected nature to the skip itself with what you're about to see here as they divert from the main course and right up this wall over the perimeter fence and just free falling into space here, but both of them looking very comfortable as they both nail the landing. And Paige suffering to the wideness of Mars's engines, but you see there how difficult it is to navigate this final tube section, especially with the wide Mars engines. All right, still in warm-ups here. Players have a little extra time to warm up with the skips pick. But I like what I'm seeing so far. I imagine they'll be dropping the deaths down on this race. Yeah, there's just a series of challenging obstacles. This like condenses what would be a track with a large amount of straightaways with not much happening down into uh, just a quick succession of dangerous obstacles. All right, there goes the countdown. And yeah, knock left tilting, getting a nice amount of height on that, and even playing it very safe on each attempt. Yeah, I like what I'm seeing out of knock. Okay, this is gonna be our start here. Yeah, apologies for quite the sync delay there. Um, but once they get synced up, we'll see how things are going. Should be seeing it any second here. Paige looks like she has a good climb out of this asteroid section here, the surface. Knock also with the left tilt and up and over. They're synced up. Paige nails and Knock nails the landing, and it's into the tube with the widest pod in the game. Oh, Knock breaking a rock there, but both. Oh, I was about to say come out unscathed. That's, yeah, just you survive everything just to die to a plain old wall at the end. That's how it's always got to be. Okay, into lap 2. Let's see how the skip's looking here. Paige cutting quite the distance there. And it looks like she's going to nail it as well. Here comes Knock. Oh, and she dies into... Does she get the No, she does not. You saw how desperately she was trying to close the distance over that gap. And it looks like Paige died to a rock in there, but no trouble soft locking. Knock lands it. And Paige is going to close out the 50-second lap 2. She's got quite the lead on Knock, but it thinks could change up in lap 3. We'll see what happens. All right, here goes Paige's climb up and over. And she's already cleared it. Yep. She lands it. I'm not sure if there's still hope here for Knock. Yeah, Paige emerges from the tube deathless and takes it. It's a 241, very clean. Cleans up her old time, her old best there, and Knock dying in the tube. Even though she got the lap 3 skip pretty well, but it's that damn tube that's always trouble. Okay, that brings us to match point with Paige now 4-0. Let's see if Knock can muster up a single point here. And let me verify this so we can proceed. Okay, Knock has no force points left, but she still has the run back. Let me remember to clear out these delays. Here come our ban phase. Knock now temp banning instead of Ben, Bullseye Navoir, Paige temp bans Grabvine Gateway, Knock takes us to Scrapper's Run, and of course she has no forces. So it's going to be likely a Ben mirror on Scrappers to determine if this match goes any further. Yep, Paige confirming, going with Ben. I don't see why we'd go with anyone else unless maybe there's a gentleman's agreement. But it looks like Paige doesn't actually have a recorded Ben time in tournament on Scrapper's Run. That's interesting. The tournament record here is Goofbrush with a 151.3. This is the shortest track in the game. So we just went from the longest by length, which was considerably shortened by that skip, to indeed the shortest track. And I believe you see this trend. A lot of late match races end up being on these shorter tracks where runners might be fatigued, their endurance is running out. Because this can be very taxing for the runners. This amount of stress and amount of attention that you have to give to this game every second. You see how insane it is. Yeah, you don't want your playlist running out at all. You see Knock actually boosting out of that fast terrain there. That's actually a key to maintaining your heat. So it's good that she knows that strat. She's definitely researched this course here. And yeah, both these runners are still running the distorted PC textures. A lot of these textures actually look a lot different on N64 version. All right, off we go into race 5 on Scrapper's Run. This is match point for Paige, and this is Knock's last chance here to get a point off of Paige, or she'll be sent to the loser's bracket. Things already looking good for Paige. I think there was a bonk there for Knock. Paige on a little higher heat. You see Knock just barely keeping her heat up and also going wide on that last corner. Paige closing it out with a 38 versus a 39 second, full second ahead into lap 2. Here's that fast terrain they want to maximize. Knock gets that little boost out of it. And she's hanging in there. You see here, staying around that 1 second mark behind Paige. But Paige maintains her lead through lap 2. And it's a very close lap 2 time for both of them. This is it, lap 3. Oh, that's a death from Paige. Can Knock hold things together here. Looking a little dicey. But it looks like she's gonna come through on this. And that's a point for Knock. Thanks to that one death from Paige there in that dicey death wall section. I don't know if it was exactly the death wall, but it looked like it occurred right in there. Look at that. Knock not letting Paige run away with this, not letting her get away with a 5-0. That's awesome. You love to see it. Yeah, unfortunate with that single death from Paige, but we're still in this match. And yeah, you saw that how consistent she was there on Scrappers and her recovery as well. Keeping things clean, and it's into race 6 for the band phase. This is now Paige pick, and she's on match point, so she could hit Knock with some dirty stuff here to close out the match. Paige temp bans Dud Bolt. Or we could see a reverse sweep. Yeah, that's a fair point. No 5-0s. And actually, that's a great marker for this winner's quarters of this lower bracket. There were no 5-0s whatsoever. You love to see it. Okay. Knock, temp band, Sunken City. Paige is taking us to Zugga Challenge. So forget what I said about sticking to shorter tracks in the late match, because this one is on the longer side. Looks like Paige has a deathless 433 here in tournament. Knock does not have a recorded bend time. But it should be a bend mirror here. Excuse me while I get some water.
Back again, huh? They come here, they look around.
I hope Watto was able to fill in the commentary there. Oh yes, Knock gifted us all a very lovely sticker in the Discord for Dozer awareness, which you see Knock displaying there with her crash into the treads. But at the end of this course is an infamous, as I believe Hellfire best put it, a mini boss in the giant dozer at the end, which changes position throughout the race. And at lap 3, it is in the worst possible position to avoid. So that's where the term dozer awareness was coined, because players would often forget where that dozer was going to be on their lap 3, and they would end up smashing right into it. So let's hope that fate does not befall either of these runners. But yeah, there's a lot that can go wrong here on this course. You see where knock is. A lot of runners actually get too much height there and crash into the ceiling. So um, let's hope things can stay relatively clean. All right, this should be the official start. Alrighty, and we're off into race 6 on the Zugga Challenge. Match point for Paige. Both on Ben Quadneros, weaving through the dozers. There's our sink. And yeah, you see Paige on a much higher heat there. And with a little bit of a lead already. Left tunnel is faster here. And both playing it pretty safe. Not trying to squeeze out super tight lines here, which is a bit risky if you're wanting to avoid death. And here's that mini boss we were talking about. Ooh, knock with the tilt, which is sometimes good for avoiding passing through collision, but sometimes you'll be able to miraculously survive if you tilt. So I think that was her justification there. But Paige still with a growing lead here into lap 2. And for that straightaway knock, tapping out on the heat, but that's fine. Both playing it pretty safe through these sections. No deaths so far, but Paige managing to, I believe, avoid underheating and avoid bonking as well. Yeah, that's knocked super wide into a bonk there. And this is going to look like some pretty bad underheating as well. All right, here is the lap 2 dozer position. It lets Paige get through unscathed. Knock as well. Okay. Here we go into lap 3, where the dozer is going to be in the most precarious position. We have not seen any deaths yet. Yeah, it's a considerable lead for Paige right now. Already into the market section. And still keeping things clean. Paige knows she can afford this play style with her lead in points. But let's see how things go into the back half of Suga Challenge. Oh no! Just the most RNG death for Knock. Over that lava pit. Paige navigates the lap 3 dozer position. And Knock, we will see also, actually not getting it through unscathed. But that means Paige takes it 5-1 and takes the match. GG's. We see both runners typing GG and posting the dozer awareness sticker. You love to see it. Dozer awareness. Yeah, that's a GG right there. I Knock still getting that 1 point off of Paige. And even in the tournament chat, Droopy posting the sticker. You love to see it. But yeah, that's gonna be the match. And let's get them in for interviews. All right, welcome runners and GG's.
GG's, that was fun.
Yeah, I'm glad.
You threw some really fun track picks on there, honestly.
Yeah, I don't know. I'm realizing now my strategy was counter to itself, but oh well. We'll do
Yeah,
better
you
next
picked a lot of hard stuff.
Yeah, my goal in practice was everything is 10 out of 10 consistency.
And you picked
so
bumpy
maybe-
skips?
Well, that was the only like I was getting it like 9 out of 10 in practice.
Yeah, that one threw me off
Basically
for a
everything
second.
was- I didn't actually know if you knew
I
the new version of Bumpy
know the
Skip.
new one, I just don't enjoy it and I'm not good at it. So I went with the old one, and Neva makes that completely free. I just
Right.
needed to get the timing back because it had been a while. Because
That's-
his acceleration is so good.
That was so great to watch in warm-ups. We saw just how much you were almost scrambling to figure out a consistency, and then literally the last second of warm-ups, you like nailed it, and then from there on, you didn't fail a single time.
Yeah, I basically had to relearn that skip as I went. Because it had been so long.
Yeah, well done.
And without Ben, that was, I had never practiced it on anyone else.
Yeah, I was hoping that would throw you.
Yeah, it did.
Elan is like as close as the new skip gets to being free. He's just
Yeah.
pretty close to 100%.
Yeah, I mean, Neva, if you have the timing down, is 100% on the old skip. Combination of acceleration and handling makes it real easy.
Right.
The one I wasn't expecting was the Sebulba's Legacy in any capacity. Because I've been grinding that one.
Yeah, I had gotten an okay time with Mars. I have a 157 with Mars.
That's not bad.
Which seemed like if you're on an off pod and make any one mistake, then I should just win it.
Yeah, that makes sense.
I ended up being the one making the mistake, so oh well.
Yeah, I mean, even if I didn't make a mistake, I don't think that time would have made up. I'm not sure. Or even if you didn't make a mistake.
Right.
I don't know. That one would have been real close.
It did look extremely close with the asymmetrical pod stuff. Yeah, I believe through lap 2, you guys on lap 2, you had nearly identical lap times.
Huh. Yeah, I think without the death, that would have been within like 0.2.
Yeah, probably. Because I don't do a tunnel on that one as much. Especially with something like Elan, just because I haven't practiced it.
Right.
But
I'm not even convinced that I'm faster doing tunnel, but I do tunnel.
yeah, I mean, I can tell you're not slower, Just because unless you take it really terribly, it's not going to be slower.
Right.
I don't know. Lightning, any questions for us?
I love that right at the first match point for Paige, that final chance for Nock. You managed to get that scrappers run, and it looked like that was pretty prepared for you, was it?
Yes, yeah, that I've been grinding really hard.
Nice. Yeah.
It was that and Ando Prime were my no force picks.
Mm-hmm.
And I've been pushing both of those pretty hard to the
They were
point where I
both-
could get good times consistently.
They're both solid picks on against me, I think. At least in that scenario.
Yeah, I was looking. It seemed like your Scrappers Run PB was in the sweet spot of you probably won't permaban it, but also it's maybe a little weaker.
Yeah, that's a really good read. Because like I'm not bad on the track, but it's a track that the top times are so stratified
Right.
that it's really hard to break into it, and I don't particularly like the track, so I don't want to play it as much.
Well, and then that and Ando Prime are both just short-ish tracks where there's one easy spot to die, right? No matter how good you are, sometimes you hit the death wall, sometimes you fail the hairpin.
And I mean, the exact opposite of that's why I picked Zugga at the end, even though I don't like the track that much. It's something where, as we discussed a while ago, I have the advantage on the longer, on tracks that are both long and easy, just on pace.
Right, for sure.
Yeah, that definitely came through even before those deaths. And that was a devastating RNG death for you, Nock, over that lava.
Yeah, that was
pit.
weird. I'm not even mad about that. Sometimes you just die on that jump. I don't know.
Yeah.
But
I always tilt over it.
Even with that, or even before that, Paige had already grown quite the lead.
Yeah, I figured I needed at least 2 deaths from you there. Like that was just
Probably.
a smart pick.
Thanks. I got a 430 without a death because I was playing it pretty safe for that exact reason.
Right.
Yeah.
It's the same thing I did on Doug Derby earlier, because that was over 3 seconds off my PB, but it was still ahead of yours.
For sure. And I love how clean you guys both played it on, right out of the gate, no deaths. I know you had already established that race one for a while, but you still love to see it.
Yeah, that was a fun one.
Yeah, I had to brake super hard and ended up essentially taking a death because of how many times I needed to brake, but I didn't.
Yeah,
die,
I just don't touch my brakes on that track.
Yeah, that was, race 1 adrenaline is just your fingers betray you, and all of a sudden walls look a lot closer, and you have braking where you wouldn't normally. I don't normally brake there either.
Yeah, I just kind of turn off the self-preservation instinct in my brain and just go.
Well, that's a strat for sure.
Yeah. I think we might need pod racer therapy, collectively.
Yeah. Yeah, you just you have to be able to kind of turn off bits of your brain to be able to play as aggressively as you need to for top times. You just have to not care.
For sure.
Yeah, especially if you're doing PB attempts.
So, with the results of this match, which congratulations, Paige, you're moving on.
Thank you.
The winners bracket to face
Digital Unity,
Digital
right?
Unity, yes. And I know, Nock, you mentioned that going to face Ronnie actually seems like a worse fate for you in the losers bracket.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure this is going to be another similar match where Ronnie just beats me on pace everywhere, so I need mistakes.
Well, I did like your use of force points here. You seem to be able to throw a lot of interesting stuff at your opponent, so I imagine you'll bring the same in that match.
I was seriously expecting more pod bans than skips. Try to force me out of my comfort zone and practice a niche combo.
I thought about it, and I would have if I had had time to practice for the past week and a half. But learning full tracks with bowls or whoever is longer, or seemed like it would be harder than relearning a couple of skips I already knew.
That's totally valid.
But that did cross my mind. Even just like even without forces, I was considering ban Ben every time, do bowls every track.
For sure. Yeah, if Paige wasn't such a strong improviser and recovery what's the word I'm looking for? Enthusiast? I don't know.
I don't know. Nothing I can say won't sound self-aggrandizing.
Yeah, we'll leave it at that. But yeah, congratulations again on a well-raced match. I believe that's gonna do it for this.
Yep, and then we've got another one in 3 hours, right?
Exactly. Please stick around for the next match in 3 hours.
Or just come back. Don't have to sit here quietly on stream.
Stay and keep your eyes
just
glued
strap
to
yourself
the
to your chairs. Don't blink.
But yeah, that's actually in 2.5 hours on SpeedGaming Prime, the upper winners quarters with Mikey Burger versus Gale Force. So stick around for that, or yeah, well, whatever.
You know what we mean.
Go get something to eat and then enjoy it to the match. Anyway,
See you all later.
that's going to be it for us. Thank you to Speed Gaming for hosting this one. Thank you to our runners, and thank you to everyone in chat for coming around and making it a fun, especially fun match this morning or afternoon or wherever you are in the world. All right, see you next time.
Bye, everyone.
See ya.